stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good afternoon. Yes, afternoon. I tend to forget because I've done a meeting, I've gone live, I have also we did a podcast, and even though, yeah, I'm brain dead. And then I went to a meeting, and I've been working on my website. So I forgot to share on the Facebook. Got to share on the Facebook, but I will do my best here. But I really don't have a brain at the moment. Insane in the membrane. Insane, got no brain. You thought I don't know newer songs. Actually, those aren't newer songs anymore, Dion. Oh, so hi, Ingrid. It's good to see you. I don't know why this is coming to my mind. Have you guys seen the new joke, the new Joker? I don't know how to pronounce the name. No, I'm British. I don't even like the French. But a lot of people were harping on it. I thought it was fucking awesome. I thought it was great. I think no, I am no Cypress Hill. That's for sure, Ingrid. First, I ain't got no makeup on. Not anymore. I used to wear eyeliner. That was a long when I was a teenager. But yeah, Lady Gaga did. I'm not a huge fan of Lady Gaga. I just haven't been into her music. I think she's a great person, but man, I fell in love with. I didn't fall in love with her, but yeah, she carried herself very well in that movie. I was impressed. And now she's doing a benefit concert for the fires and stuff. I think that's pretty cool. So, hello, Amba. It is good to see you. Hopefully, you do not have any interviews during this one. Um, so yeah, the podcast is done. It's out. Clara Joyce told her story. I wasn't sure if she wanted to be anonymous or not. She did not. So now it's okay. Uh, it is out in the world. I don't even know her last name, so I couldn't even begin to tell you. I mean, nobody has their last name here except me. Girls, I think it's smart that girls hide their last name, especially if they're in a committed relationship, because guys are insistent assholes. They are, and I know because I am one. All right, all right. Let's show off the. I'm going to show off the webpage real quick. I've done a little bit with it. Where is it? Which one is it? Would it be edit? Right? Be the edit. Yes. All right. So here it is. I started at the top. All right. Leadership by example. All sources are vetted and trusted by judging together. It's not really different. It just looks a lot better. It's easier to use. And I love purple. Right. And I've gotten to this point. I'm probably going to delete most of this. But this is where I'm going to put resources next because I have a lot of resources coming. I've kind of become the resource person. Another thing I haven't really talked about because I don't like to brag, but a lot of the sorry, I almost embellished my story. Almost, but I did not. East Metro Detox, which is one of the bigger detoxes run by Aurora Mental Health, and Adams County um, do not like the resources that they are being provided. So I put together some resources for alcoholism, and I'll get to drug addiction and stuff other stuff later. But it's going to include sober livings and recovery coaches and IOP and treatment centers that are doing it correctly, and they will be vetted by me. I've built a lot of trust with these people, and it wasn't easy to do with my PTSD. It wasn't. They got caught up in there a little bit. All right, welcome to Daily Trudge. I'm Dion. I needed a break from thinking, and I don't really have to think to do this because it's all embedded in my meat sack of a brain. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. Also, I'd like to make a quick announcement, not a quick announcement, but I need a little bit of help. What I would like is some reviews. If I have helped you or something like that, I'd like to put 2 or 3 reviews on there. If you've come on the podcast or if you listen to the Daily Trudge, I do have one review from a friend, Angel, that I'm going to use. But I'd like to have 3 or 4. Not required, but it kind of fills up space on the website, and it makes me feel good. Let's throw that in there. Let's throw some truth in there. All right. So I'm going to start on page 25 if you'd like to follow along. Excuse me. There is a solution. Now, and the solution doesn't sound very nice in the beginning, but once you get through some of the programming, you start to get it. Almost none of us liked, right? So almost none of us liked. What does that mean? Liked means that we went through it. It means we did it. The self-searching, the leveling of pride, the confession of shortcomings, which the process requires for successful consummation. I'm going to bring up a shortcoming that I had this week because it's kind of funny. I may have already told it. Yeah, I'd be happy to. What am I walking you through? Do you remind me what I'm going to walk you through? What kind of review? Where am I leaving this review? Oh, yes. You can just write it and send it to me in text. Hey, Brand, it's good to see you. I was going to actually send you a text this afternoon and see how you were doing because I haven't seen you for a minute. So I'm glad to see you. Yeah, if you want to just write a short blurb and text it to me or send it in an email, that would be perfect. And of course, I'll put the dash in your first name. I won't put a last name. Or if you don't want me to use your name, just let me know and I'll put anonymous. I don't have a problem with that. It just lets people know that, that they are watching, and people look at reviews. So, yeah. But Brendan, good to see you. I guess I should have described it. Yeah, I'm going to have to get a little bit better at when I do need something better at how. So thank you for that. So one of my shortcomings, so I bought this car, right? And it wasn't turning over. And it wasn't the ignition, wasn't the battery. I would know all of that, right? So I was pretty confused. Well, you can either give like a really broad overview review. Ingrid, I think I do know your last name only because of email. See, that's the only, but I don't have it memorized. No, I will always call you Azul. I will, which just reminds me of Ghostbusters. There is no Dion, there is only Azul. So I hit this car. So I turn it over every now and then. I'm finally, I get it. I'm like, okay, maybe I need to stop waiting for the beeping. And that wasn't it. I thought I had it. And I'm like, God, I'm going to have to fucking go over there. And I'm talking to my wife about, I'm like, it seems like it's a little hard to shift and stuff. And she said, I love my wife. She said, yeah, that was happening to me too. So I pushed the clutch in further. So I moved my seat up an inch and it starts fine. All right. Now that's funny, but I was proud of myself for not letting it become a shortcoming by not listening to my wife. I'm going to tell you something. My wife knows more about cars than I do. Okay, so it was good. Okay, all right. I'm not even going to try and memorize it because doesn't, yeah, it doesn't affect our friendship, you know. So, oh, but if you want to do a review on the Daily Trudge, or maybe you came on and told your story. Um, I need some story ones, I felt really relaxed while talking to Deanna. Yeah, things like that. Yeah. But it's hard for me to go on there and write something about myself. That's really hard for me to do because the humility in me just won't, it comes out crappy, you know. I feel like I'm naming a foundation after myself. So, anyway, so the confession of shortcomings, there's one of mine, which the process requires for its successful consummation. Consummation means it happened. You know, usually consummation bring two things together that fit, right? Like a marriage, two people, right? Friendships are a consummation. A knowing trust, things like that. But we saw that it really worked in others, and we had come to believe in the hopelessness and futility of life as we have been living it. So the desperation, second part of the first step, that my life is unmanageable. When therefore we are approached by those whom the problem had been solved, there was nothing left for us but to pick up the simple kit of spiritual tools laid at our feet. We have found much of heaven, and we have been rocketed into a fourth dimension of existence of which we had not even dreamed. Now I looked up fourth dimension probably a couple weeks ago because I probably read this part, right? Um, I'm great. I hit a painful bottom and shit got real. I did not drink. Yay! Good job. Good fucking job. And I've been given rewards tenfold in three days. So not much going on, well, except for everything. Good job, Brent. I'm glad to hear that. Now I did not think you went back out, but sometimes we emotionally relapse, and I know for me, I'll hide. And I know my friends well enough, right? But when I see you and stuff, and then I don't see you, I'm gonna fucking wonder where you're at. I will. So, all right. And I say that so you feel like you belong, because you do. So, a fourth dimension for me is just another way of living. I have a new set of morals. And I actually don't have a new set of morals. It's just now I know how to use my morals. I didn't know how before. I was naive. Nobody ever taught me. And until I became open minded as the dying could be, I would not change that. Okay. And I knew my whole life I was going against my morals, but I didn't know what to do. So I faked it. I faked it. And that's where the lying, the manipulation, and all that other stuff came from. All right. I was just trying to fit in, man. All my life, even to this day, I'm just trying to fit in. I just want to be a working member of society. I don't need clout for anything, you know. Right now I'm talking to this guy. I mean, these are the conversations I have, right? So, and I'm not going to bring up names. I said, so hey, I would like to make an introduction to East Metro and Adams County, and thought would include sober living. Could we set a meeting with beep so I can get a feel for him? I don't trust him just yet. Now, here's the thing. Everybody in this field for me is guilty until proven innocent in the state, right? He said, yeah, I can set up a call with three of us. What's the goal with East Metro and Adams County? A partnership of some sort with beep? Just curious. I said, the intent is to have top-notch resources they can use. Is the part of the resources I am putting together for Adams County and East Metro. If it turns into a partnership, all the better. But this is a great start to vetted resources at all. There's not much there, it doesn't have to be this whole we got to be in partnership and you're going to support me and I'm going to support you. No, I'm just looking for good places that these people can go to. I don't have to be involved in all of it. My name doesn't need to be dropped. It doesn't. Good. Good. I'm glad you ran out of places to hide. Good. And it's good to see you. I'm proud of you. All right. So, fourth dimension. Yeah, I didn't dream of any of this. And I've got a great imagination, a very, very good imagination. I used to run LARPing. That takes a lot. It takes a good imagination to have 20 people that you have to write a storyline for who don't follow any of the directions, and it changes constantly. Yeah, that was the challenge. I loved it. I loved it. Good. Good. I know it's usually higher than that for you. You know, I'm not a doctor. Okay. And I've never played one on TV either. But for me, I noticed that when I worked on my spirituality, a lot of my physical pain started to go away. A lot of my physical, I mean, I'm always in pain one way or another. I've done too much, right? So good. I'm glad to hear that. Sometimes it's hard to keep a positive attitude when you're in a lot of pain. So good job. The great fact. And what is the great fact in this case? Well, it's experience. It's the experience they had. It is just this and nothing less, that we have had deep and effective spiritual experiences, which have revolutionized our whole attitude toward life, toward our fellows, and towards God's universe. The central fact of our lives today is the absolute certainty that our Creator has entered into our hearts and lives in a way which is indeed miraculous. He has commenced to accomplish those things for us which we could never do by ourselves. The obsession of drinking is the first one, right? But I love this part. Our Creator has entered into our hearts. Language of the heart is God. God chose you to speak for him. Your higher power chose you to speak for them. There's billions of people in this world. Billions of people. And you were chosen. Wasn't an easy choice. I mean, how does God make the decision that one person gets to be an alcoholic and another person doesn't? Well, you know what? Normal drinkers, because that's what I've landed on, normal drinkers, not normies, not non-alcoholics, normal drinkers, which very much explains what I'm talking about, have their own bullshit that they go through. See, we all got our stuff. We all got our stuff. All right. So, yeah, having a new attitude. It doesn't even say a good attitude, but a new attitude. All right. It's not always, I don't always have a good attitude. But the thing now is I'm aware of my bad attitude. I'm aware. Normally 11, I believe it. So 4 is a relaxing day for you. Here's the thing about alcoholics, especially women alcoholics. Our threshold for pain is very high. It is. And we're born that way. So, if you are seriously alcoholic as we were, we believe there is no middle of the road solution. Okay? There's a lot of gray. There's a lot of gray in AA, but this is not part of it. What's up, dude? He's been so needy. All right, he's a good-looking cat, isn't he? Okay. He's barely, when we got him, he was skin and bones, and he was still a kitten. His paws were bigger than he was. Right? I think he's just being done being a kitten. So, Matthew 5, 13, 14. I don't know much about the Bible, but you are more than welcome to put the phrase or whatever that is in it if you'd like. Absolutely, you can. If it reminds you of something. Right. So no middle of the road solution. We were in a position where life was becoming impossible. And if we pass into the region from which where there is no return through human aid, we had but two alternatives. One was to go on to the bitter end, blotting out the consciousness of our intolerable situation as best we could, and the other to accept spiritual help. Salty and lit. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. So what goes through my head is that I'm salty because that's how Pastor Marcia describes me to other church members. What's Dion like? Well, he's salty. Yeah. And I even told her, I said, if you want, I can work on not swearing so much. She said, no, don't change a thing. I don't want you to change anything. But it might also be why they haven't asked me to come up to the pulpit and tell my story yet, too. All right. Or to expect or accept. Oh, okay, got it. My new summary of the verse to point out salt of the earth lit by a higher power. Thank you for explaining that, Bren, because I didn't get that at all. So thank you for explaining that very much. I appreciate that. All right. This we did because we honestly wanted to and were willing to make an effort. And willing to make an effort, and that's in step two, where we're willing to make an effort to try and accept spiritual help, and it's all that's really needed. I was going to say required, but it's not required. Uh-uh. um yeah, I call the big book the Bible for dummies, but we are not dummies. We're not. So but I agree with that. um and I know that I know I'm on the right path with it, because it's often that I'll say something to Pastor Marcia and she's like, that's exactly what the Bible says. And I said, well, I got it. She's like, where are you I'm like, it's in the big book. But because I say it differently, it speaks our language. And see, that's where it is I can speak our language. And what is that? Well, it's the language of the heart. It's something that we all understand, right? All I do is send a message and people are like, yeah, we can meet. Everybody before would be like, chirp, chirp. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. All right, I'm going to go to page 28 now. I'm going to skip the story. I'm going to skip, I believe his name's Jim. Is that Jim's story? No, not Jim's. Anyway, this, we in our turn sought the escape with all the desperation of drowning men. What seemed at first a flimsy reed has proved to be the loving and powerful hand of God. A new life has been given us, or if you prefer, a design for living that really works. The distinguished American psychologist William James, in his book Variety of Religious Experiences, indicates a multitudes. I think I want to read that book now. Because it said religious in it, but I think I do want to read that book. I'm getting more and more curious about it. I was also wondering if it was Silkworth that wrote it, and it was not. I did find that out. So, indicates a multitude of ways in which men have discovered God. There is just as many ways that everybody here has found their higher power as there are alcoholics. Yes, everyone's individualized. The power of meeting someone where they are at, that's it. I'm telling you. It brings hope to luster eyes, man. We're I'm the kind of person that can bring out dopamine in people. I can get them excited for life. just to fucking live. It's weird. It's weird. Anyway, we have no desire to convince anyone that there is only one way by which faith can be acquired. That'd be silly. If what we have learned and felt and seen means anything at all, it means that all of us, whatever our race, creed, color, are the children of a living creator with whom we may be able to form a relationship upon simple and understanding terms as soon as we are willing and honest enough to try. Those having religious affiliations will find nothing disturbing to their beliefs or ceremonies. There is no friction among us over such matters. Now, in fact, I respect people that do that. Maybe they're I don't remember the religion now. But there are some religions, there's devotions 3, 4 times a day. Jewish don't eat meat on Fridays. They can't even use electricity and things like that. These are sacrifices that people make of their time and their effort to give to their God, to their higher power, right? Now, in our case, our sacrifice is also time. What do you think those meetings are? An hour a day, you're devoting an hour every day that you go to a meeting to God. That's okay. I was going to say something, but I don't because it says there is no friction among us over such matters. I'm going to say this is opinion only. I'll just. There are some groups I've gone to, and they don't end. They'll end with like the responsibility statement. And it's not that I don't love the responsibility statement, but what I'm not doing is saying, thank you, God. I'm not talking directly to my higher power. So what I do is I say the serenity prayer. It fits right in with the responsibility statement, by the way. People have no idea. But that's a preference. But I don't need to go to the group and be like, that's wrong, because it's not. Okay, to each their own, right? There doesn't need to be any friction among that. Okay, so if you want to go out with your own prayer, you can. Yes, you can. It's your higher power, it's your recovery. Now, that doesn't mean I need to go change a group because I have an opinion. That's silly, right? We think it no concern of ours what religious bodies our members identify themselves with as an individual. Oh, before I forget, and I will make sure it gets into the grassroots and things like that, or maybe I'll make another. But on the second and fourth Sundays, Pastor Marcia she'll be preaching. I don't know what ministering, I guess what they call it. And there is a Zoom link already. So I will make sure. There were a couple people that said they'd like to check that out because Pastor Marcia is awesome. She has made me feel so comfortable about church. It's hard for me not to go now. Okay. And I'm just trying to be more open-minded. And God brought her into my life. There, we started those meetings at Henderson Community Church, and people are like, well, it's too bad it didn't work out. I'm like, oh, but it did work out. It very much did work out. The AA meetings, they failed. It didn't work for some reason. I don't know the reason. I don't need to know the reason. But I do know this. I met Pastor Marcia, and she's probably my best friend at this point. It's kind of a tie between her and Amber. Okay. Now, if I say you're my best friend, it doesn't mean that you have to think that way back, just so you know. Would you? Yeah. I didn't know you knew her. Oh, you don't know her. Okay. She's a big proponent, but so her and I became friends. Okay. But not only that, but Al-Anon's still going strong there, and they might be bringing on Alateen soon. So it was a success. It was a success. It worked because my only intention was to get Alateen. That was it. There you go. Right. So it worked. So this should be an entirely personal affair, which each one decides for himself in the light of past associations or present choice. Not all of us join religious bodies but most of us favor such memberships. We really do. I mean, we give more to the individual right to think for himself than any other program I've ever met or that I've been in. A lot of other programs, Smart Recovery tells you exactly what to do. Yeah. So, AA is also the only place where alcohol use disorder, I got to use it in that term because there's a lot of different ways right now, that has a 24-hour hotline. The only one. Celebrate, Smart, none of them. No, they do not have that because the service work for them doesn't seem to be the top priority. Where for us, AA started because of 12-step calls. The other places started because of AA. Kind of a difference, you know. All right. In the following chapter, there appears an explanation of alcoholism as we understood it. Then the chapter addressed to the agnostic. Many who once were in this class are now among our members. Surprisingly enough, we find such convictions no great obstacles to a spiritual experience. No, no. I want to say something real quick. I wasn't able to say it in the meeting. Somebody said, the way you know you're an alcoholic is you ended up in an AA meeting. And I got to tell you, that's not true. That's not true. My first wife, I met her in AA. She's not an alcoholic. She was there because of a DUI. She was mandated. Okay, but just because you ended up in an AA meeting. Now, if you have a desire to stop drinking, then you can be a member of AA. That doesn't mean you have to be an alcoholic. Right? So it's not quite true. Right? That was just a old man mansplaining stuff. Wasn't me this time. Further on, clear-cut directions are given showing how we recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. It is the insanity that we recover from, not alcoholism. These are followed by 42 personal experiences. There will always be 42 personal experiences. Why? Because we're not going to change the first 164 pages. Okay? All right. In fact, let's wait till the 5th edition comes out and we'll see if that changes. And I bet it does not. Each individual in the personal stories describes his own language and from his own point of view, the way he established his relationship with God. These give a fair cross-section of our membership and a clear-cut idea of what has actually happened in their lives. Storytelling, we all know that I like the storytelling. I like helping with the storytelling. I really do. I find them moving. They provide experience, strength, and hope. Okay. And when I have a person that I'm helping out that I've decided to be a closed mouth friend with, I tell them, okay, you got your big book. What I want you to do is I want you to start reading the stories in the back and see if there's anything in there that you relate with. It's a good place to start. We hope that no one will consider these self-revealing accounts in bad taste. Yeah. Out of all the ones I've done, I've only heard one thing, and I thought it was great. It keeps popping in and out of my life. But it was two people, they were in the program and they were newer in the program. Well, one wasn't one and the other one was. They waited 2 years until that person was well enough to be in a relationship. If that isn't fucking unconditional, pure love, I don't know what is. And people gave her crap about it. I'm like, fuck them. Fuck them. That's exactly it. They're like, that's 13 stepping. I'm like, no, that's respect. That is respect. Because I know those urges, man. Yeah. Oh, fuck yeah. I thought it was awesome. All right. Our hope is that many alcoholic men and women desperately in need will see these pages and will believe that it is only by fully disclosing ourselves and our problems that they will be persuaded to say, yes, I'm one of them too. I must have this thing. Okay. Now, why is it important that we kind of bring up, and that's why we need to settle with our past, or we can't really tell our stories the way they need to be told, right? Because we might admit some things that we did that may have happened to us that are hard to hear. But what it does is it makes other people not feel terminally unique anymore. And that's all God, man. It's love. It's pure, pure, pure love, man. So, all right. I think I have a couple more brain cells that woke up so I can finish what I wanted to get done on the website. Um, I kind of know what I want. So, yeah, yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. It's always good to see all of you. Amber, um, I saw that some people that you interviewed are coming back. Good job. What does that mean? It means you're getting better at the interview process. It means that you're becoming a better manager. And I'm proud of you for that. That's not easy to do. Being a leader and being a manager is not about power or control. It is not. It can only be done by example. And when we're a good example, more people will listen to us. They'll follow direction better. All right. Brand, good to see you too. I'm glad to hear that you decided that hiding wasn't for you. And to me, that is progress. Not only that, but you taught me something today with Matthew 5:13-14. Thank you for that. Ingrid, you're just kicking ass. I don't know anything personal going on with you right now, so I can't. But I've seen you make huge, huge strides over the last year. Huge strides. I agree with this, Amber. Yeah, we've always been perfect, right? Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way, right? Oh, we know you're kidding. Well, it depends. I'm perfect right now. Everything's perfect right now. So, in a way, you're not wrong because if we're in line with God's will and God's will is perfect, doesn't mean I'm perfect, but everything is perfect. And what does that give me? It gives me serenity, peace of mind. All right. Absolutely. Absolutely, Brad. All right. I love you all. And always feel free to give me a call. A lot of people seem to think I'm out of their reach. Out of their reach. Good for Scott. He's a smart man. All right. I love you. Peace out and have a day.